Joining us now for his first TV comments since this reporting broke, Democratic Congressman Eric Swalwell of California.
Congressman Swalwell, thank you for joining us. You put out a statement shortly after this was made public, saying, of course, I will not end my lawsuit against him. Your statement seemed defiant. You are resolute, that you are not afraid. You have no fear. And I know earlier this year, you noted that you knew you could be a target. Now that this is out there and it's been out for a couple of hours, just take us inside your strategy going forward, sir. And have you actually heard from the Justice Department?
Well, first, of course, these allegations are false, just like the allegations against Adam Schiff are false and Letitia James are false and Lisa Cook are false. And a spoiler alert for you, there will be allegations next week against somebody that'll be false. No, the Justice Department has not said anything just through leaked media reporting. But this is really about Donald Trump going after his political enemies. And no one has been a more vocal critic than me. And as you mentioned, I have one of the only remaining lawsuits against Donald Trump for his role on January 6th. I don't wake up every day going to work to fight Donald Trump. I fight for Californians. He just happens to get in the way. And if he thinks for 1 second that me or Adam Schiff or Tish James or Lisa Cook are going to back down or hide under the bed or shrink, he is wrong.
I think if we could, we have from the Wall Street Journal reporting, Congressman, that I think the context here is important to bring up, that just from 48 hours ago, a report in which Fannie Mae watchdogs were removed from their jobs who had been probing to see whether Trump appointee Bill Pulte had improperly obtained mortgage records of key Democratic officials, including New York Attorney General Letitia James, according to people familiar with the matter. Fannie's Ethics and Investigations Group had received internal complaints alleging senior officials had improperly directed staff to access the mortgage documents of James and others, according to the People. It was 2 months ago, I recall, when Bill Pulte, who is the head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, made his first referrals as it pertained to Adam Schiff and Letitia James to the Department of Justice. That is what, to our understanding, has taken place today. Could you be specific when, as we wait to see if the Department of Justice seeks to take this up and panel a grand jury, when folks ask you about the specific allegations of a double primary residence, what do you say about your situation?
Yeah, I only have one mortgage and a residence in California, and I spend my time every week between California and Washington, D.C. This is, again, just Donald Trump doing everything he can to target his enemies. In our lawsuit, it's not lost on me that we've begun to depose members of the administration. And so you can connect the dots there if you will. But this is why being in the majority also matters, because these guys think that they can do this because they're invincible and there are no consequences. And a year from now, we are going to win the majority. And that's what we learned last Tuesday when California voters stood up against Donald Trump. And when we're in the majority, we will have subpoena power and accountability will happen. So Bill Pulte and any other lawless official who is carrying out these political prosecutions on behalf of Donald Trump, they should familiarize themselves with the Judiciary Committee room, because they're going to be spending a lot of time there answering questions. And I sure hope everything they did was above board.
Congressman, even as you talk about the House of Representatives, there's new reporting today from our colleagues at MSNBC that you are eyeing a run for governor of California. Does the timing of the president's legal actions against you change your thinking? And do you believe he is more concerned about you as a sitting member of Congress or as a candidate for governor of California?
Well, no news on running for governor. I think we have enough news for one day for me. And no, I'm not going to change a single thing about what I do to stand up against Donald Trump when he gets in the way of me fighting for Californians. And look, California is the greatest country in the world. Its next governor has to be excellent. That person has to be a fighter and a protector. But I'm telling you right now, I am not going to shrink one bit because of Donald Trump trying to intimidate me. And it's not working with any of the other colleagues that he's gone after either.
You know what, Congressman, table, folks at home, it is not lost on me that whether we are talking about Congressman Swalwell, Lisa Cook, Tish James prior to the charges being brought, Adam Schiff, which no charges have been brought against the senator yet, but I guess, wait and see. These are These are potential. I read the reporting about what Bill Pulte sent up, the letter that he wrote to the Justice Department about you, sir. There were terms like potential, perhaps, maybe. I didn't know we were opening up investigations on a looky-see, perhaps. This, to me, is very chilling. It should be upsetting to people, whether they are Democrats or Republicans. And I think people have to know what this is. Neutral governance in this country under the Trump administration, it does not currently exist. Because this is a president, in my opinion, that has weaponized the entirety. He's used the whole of government approach when it comes to weaponization. And what he is doing with the Justice Department. Today it is you, sir. Tomorrow it will be someone else. And my question is, what will it take to hear other individuals who are not at the other end of the target, individuals within the president's own party, stand up and say, enough is enough here? Because if they'll do it to you, who's to say Thomas Massie isn't on the list, right? He's caught the eye of the president.
This is a message to Thomas Massie that's what this is, that he will get to you if you oppose him. It's a message to Lauren Boebert. This president is entirely focused on going after his political enemies. But we should also step back and just ask, what is the cost of that focus? If he is putting under investigation his enemies and letting out of jail his supporters, where is his focus? We were told he would focus on lowering costs on day one. It's day 300. He's 0 for 300. He sent $40 billion to his friend down in South America. He's giving himself $230 million. He's giving a bunch of senators $500,000 each because their phone records were pulled for what they did on January 6th. And most Americans are just saying, when are you going to focus on me and my family and my needs and our dreams?
You know, separate, Congressman, from what developed here today and this apparent referral to the Department of Justice, your situation aside, I know Tish James was the example who ultimately had an indictment brought against her for this idea that she had two residencies in which both were listed as primary residencies. And I actually asked the Department of Justice, Attorney General Pam Bondi, about a month ago specifically whether she was looking into Trump administration cabinet officials who had the same accusations and situations against them. And my question here to you is, what does your conversation look like in these last hours among fellow members of Congress and other close allies of yours about how to respond to this specific situation, understanding that there is one party that is being targeted here by this Department of Justice, and understanding that there's a likelihood that there are going to be others? How are you guys moving forward in preparing for what could also amount to legal fees and a very broad scope and spectrum to which they are trying to take this even beyond you?
I want to tell you, because I've been overwhelmed by my California delegation colleagues who've reached out and sent messages of support. And what I just responded to them, I said, thanks, guys. Really grateful for the support and statements. Of course, it's all false. And whoever he accuses next week, that'll be false too. Our strength is our unity. And that has been the collective sense of not just the California delegation because of me and Adam Schiff, but of our caucus, that we have to all stick together. If he picks us off one by one, as he has done with law firms or universities or entertainment companies, you're much weaker. But when we link arms together and say, this is un-American, this is not who we are, we can stand up to him. And I'm inspired again by my fellow neighbors in California who stood up to him last week to match what he did in Texas. There is a way to beat this guy.
In researching today for this segment, Congressman, in reading in, it struck me that there are now photos of your home, the home in question here, that are splashed all over the internet, photos of the exterior, photos of the interior. You, because you have been a critic of the president, have also been a target of his admirers' ire for a long time now. And I wonder if you feel that those threats to your safety, to the safety of your family, have become more acute in the past 24 hours.
They have, and we have to have security. And my kids are not allowed to play outside in the front yard because of that. But again, if the aim is that people like me and others are going to shrink or are going to be quiet, it's not going to work, because the second that I stop holding this president accountable, why would anyone else go to a No Kings rally? Why would anybody else stand in line to vote? If I allow him to make me weak, why would I be able to ask my fellow citizens to be strong? So I will continue to stand up to him and his un-American ways. And my family and I, we will be fine. I'll protect them. I'll protect my staff. But protecting our democracy and its rule of law while we have it is paramount right now.
You know, Congressman, it's also not lost on me that you are very much so confronting, as Alicia just laid out, a situation that is quite precarious for your family, for your children. You've been a guest on this show many times. Sometimes you and other lawmakers, your children are with you. I've met your children. I'm sure this is very harrowing. It's not lost on me, though, that you are not you understand that this is not specifically just about you. And if you just take a look at all of the individuals as of late that have been targeted, A.G. Tish James, yourself, Congresswoman by the government, LaMonica McIver, Lisa Cook, I think each of you represent something that the president fears or feels as though stands in his way. When it comes to you, not only could you be a candidate for governor, we'll be waiting for that answer in California, but also you served as impeachment manager for one of the president's impeachments, as well as the fact that at the same time, he is trying to rewrite the history of January 6th. And so it's not lost on me that the targeting of you could serve many purposes for this president, and that this is all, shall we say, also not normal, and something I thought that the government took care of post-Watergate with the reforms.
Simone, thank you for that. And yes, I was just chosen to lead the Democratic effort on the January 6th investigation, where the president is trying to erase the heroism of the police officers who responded that day. And I'm not going to let him do that. And, you know, look, I'll be honest with you. I have family members who have called and friends who have called and have said, you know, why don't you just drop the lawsuit or try and strike a deal with the guy and see if, you know, he won't go after you. But that's not the way I was raised. I'm the son of a cop. I saw my dad every day make hard decisions, you know, to hold powerful people accountable. And that's what I see in LaMonica McIver and Adam Schiff and so many others. And who knows who you'll be talking about next week. We just know that there will be somebody new next week. But there's a way out of this. And it's the same vigor and passion that those officers showed to defend the Capitol on January 6th, that protesters showed to go to the No Kings rally, that Californians showed to go to the ballot box. And we're just a year away of winning the majority and cutting our time in hell by half.